This is Matt Minich for Bengals Chalk Talk here on Cincy Jungle. Today we are going to talk about the 2020 cornerbacks in the NFL draft. And really, I mean, this is a need for the Bengals. You know, it might not appear to be one on the surface, despite the issues the Bengals had defensively last year. But we've got Darqueze Dennard, who is hitting free agency once again. Will he return or will he not? Who knows? We've got Dre Kirkpatrick, who's been discussed as a potential cap casualty or trade option, perhaps. So he could be gone. And William Jackson, will they choose to extend him after this season? So a lot of question marks here. You know, a lot of question marks. This group could be completely different in 2 years' time, not unlike the receiver position in that way. So we're going to take a look at some corners. Now, I'd be remiss to skip on the number one corner, Ohio State's Jeffery Cudahy. So we're going to start there. Now, the only way that the Bengals are getting Jeffery Cudahy is if they decide to forego selecting Joe Burrow and take a cornerback instead, which would obviously be a franchise-altering mistake. But we're going to mention him anyway. All right, so he's at the top of the screen here. Now, this is a run play. All right, seems like a weird thing to show you a corner on a run play, but that's what we're going to do. Look, we know what he can do in the pass game. He's a big, long, fluid athlete, right? Great feet, right, which you can see right here. He's chopping his feet. Very patient, good with his eyes, engages with his hands, and gets off that receiver and makes that tackle. All right, so those skills are things that are transferable and that you see in the pass game as well. He's ridiculously smooth. All right, good ball skills, make up speed. At 6'1", I mean, this guy is the dude. He is the absolute dude, and that's why he's CB1. And he's a guy that should be in the conversation with the third pick. I think he should be in the conversation with the second pick as well, along with that guy right there. So, again, the Bengals aren't getting him. All right, here's another guy that the Bengals aren't going to get, and that's C.J. Anderson is probably the next one off the board. There are a couple other guys that I could see going number two, second corner, or I could potentially see sliding. So we're going to put Henderson in here next. But here you see him against Jamar Chase. You catch the end of the clip here, but look, he's running that down. We got Burrow throwing a ball to Chase. Henderson's getting there, tracking it down, and making a play on the ball. So that's an excellent job there. I mean, just showing what kind of an athlete that he really is, and being able to match up against some of the better players in college football. So sticking with Jamar Chase and making a play on the ball is awesome. But he's a real smooth, hippie dude. He's got some ball skills, and he projects very, very well at the NFL level. Now I'll talk about some other guys. There's two more guys that I think are probable first-round picks. First one is Jeff Gladney, and I see a lot of people talking about him as an option at 33. And if he's there, I mean, it's going to be hard to pass on him. It's going to be hard to see that him as not being best player available if he does make it. I just don't know if he's going to make it. He's on the short side. He's 5'10", which is one of the potential reasons that he could be there. Excellent burst, really good tacklers, got some nice choppy feet, physical hitter, excellent in man coverage, and really competes. And I'm going to show a clip from the Texas game. He's at the top here, and we get the drag route coming across the field. Doesn't appear to be in position, right? Because that guy got inside of him, but look, he comes in there, secures the tackle with the right hand, makes a play on the ball with the left hand. And this was, I talk about competing, this was a matchup that was tough for him against Colin Johnson at Texas. He had a tough one against Denzel Mims as well. So some of these bigger receivers They gave him some fits from time to time, but he competed. He's not going to back away from some of these bigger guys. So good job, sticking with this, sticking with the ball, and getting in there. And he's a potential option at 33. But like I said, I think if teams are smart, he won't be there. But those are really the exact guys that we should be talking about at 33. All right. Ideally, you're taking a guy who you are shocked is on the board. All right. Now we're going to talk about an LSU corner, Christian Fulton, and he's at the top here. All right. Press coverage, and really, he's a press corner. All right. Gets his hands on, gives up inside leverage, but then makes a great play on the ball, just like we were talking about with Gladney. Secures the tackle with the right hand, play on the ball with the left hand. So a really good job there. He's a very good press man corner. Does not have elite athletic ability. So where does that leave you? When you're playing a position and you're playing a role where you're kind of expecting elite athletic ability and you don't have it. But he does do it really well. He does it at a very high level. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake out, where he goes. But to me, this is a first round talent. This is first round film that we're watching here, and he's competing against some of the better guys out there in college football. But we saw Greedy Williams last year from LSU was a press corner, fell into the second round. So there's a precedent for it. We've seen that before. Could that happen again with Fulton? Who knows? The next guy we're going to take a look at is from the other side of the national championship game, AJ Terrell. And really, that's the negative on him, is that game. I think people are getting very caught up on that. And I think a lot of people have really downplayed him because, man, Jamar Chase gave him fits in that game. It was a perplexing performance in the national championship game. I don't think athleticism is the issue. His eyes were just frequently in the wrong place. He was allowing separation. He wasn't playing on the ball. Overall, like he was just shook in that game. And that's the last thing we're going to see on him. And that sticks with people's minds. Obviously, it was on the biggest stage. It was in against a great matchup. So all those things hurt. All right, but we'll see him here at the bottom. I think this is impressive. It's not quite press. He's playing a little bit lower, and he turns and bails to cover 3. Now he's going to cover this guy in the seam. All right, and the safety's over the other direction, right? Because what they were doing here, they had everybody lined up relatively close to the line, and then they kind of bailed out the end. So his help to the middle is really far away. This is a tough ball, for him to be able to play. He's really, positioned to play the outside receiver. He gets there, and gets in good position and is able to make a play on the ball. So you see some really good things out of him athletically. He's got good breaks. He's a physical player, good ball skills, very quick, good size. I think he could play in the slot because he's a physical player that could transition and play pretty well in the slot. I think a lot of times people project guys who are small to the slot. I like slots to, be small linebackers. I want them to have, the physical aspect of their game to really compete in there. So he's a guy that I think could do that, could help out. And he's a guy that some have projected him in the first round. I think he probably should be there and could definitely be an option at 33. All right. Trayvon Diggs from Alabama is the next guy we'll talk about. He's in the bottom of the screen here. All right. So does a really good job on that fade. And really, this is pretty indicative of who he is as a player. He can run stride for guys. He's going to peak and get a little bit out of position from time to time. But he's a competitor. You see he gets out of position when he turns back a little bit. He needs to kind of lean the shoulder on a little bit. We'll see more on that later from another player. But he's got the athletic ability to be able to do those things. And he's a real smooth athlete, very good ball skills, gets good reads, breaks. He's a pretty long dude. He's 6'1", 205. maybe they get what they wanted out of Kirkpatrick, out of another guy from Alabama here. He can play the ball well. He really, I think, fits that mold of kind of the Seattle cover three, press kind of guy. He's got those physical traits. He can be real physical at the line of scrimmage as well. So he could be a real good one. And I think he should be a guy that's in play at 33 as well. He's pulled some Aqib Talib comps, which instantly gets my attention. Talib is my favorite non-Bengal out there, just for kind of the way he plays and his attitude about things. I'm a big fan. But so those are the guys that have been kind of talked about in that first round conversation. But I'm going to talk about some other guys who I think could be an option at 33 potentially, and definitely as they move into the second, the third round at 65 could be an option as well. So I'll touch on. I've got 16 total day one, day two grades currently. And it's an evolving system. Things are always changing a little bit. But that's where I'm sitting right now. So we're going to go to a familiar face in Ohio State and Damon Arnette. Now, he's at the top of the screen here, and I really like this play. All right. Now, he's a smooth guy, nice hips. He can play in the slot too. All right. So he has that versatility. He's 5'11". So he's a guy that some might, project in there. He plays the ball really well, and he can be really physical. So he's got a lot of great tools. Here he's at the top, all right? And he's a guy, he's got some athletic ability that sometimes he appears to be beating coverage, and guess what? He's not. So this is a great example here, all right? He's pressed at the line of scrimmage. He's going to get the slant. Now, he puts that inside hand on and moves the inside foot up, all right? Now, what happens there is you are locked out, all right? All right, and literally, like, if you're not driving or something, if you're listening to this, all right, put your left arm and your left hand, excuse me, your left arm and your left leg out, right, and then try and turn your body to the left. It locks out your hips. It screws you up. Okay, so when you're doing that, and you're stepping, like, you're really hoping he's going to release to the outside when you're in that position. All right, now he comes to the slant, so that's going to slow down his transition a little bit. All right, but he's got the athletic ability that he makes up for it. He gets right in the position where he needs to be, secures the ball, all right, secures the tackle with that offhand, with that left hand, and makes a play on the ball with the right hand. All right, so you always want to take. All right, we see the hips there again from this angle. All right. You always, when you're getting a slant, especially, but really in any situation, if you can't directly play the ball, right, the on hand, meaning the closest hand to the man, you're going to secure the tackle with that, and then you're going to take the off hand, the farther away hand, and you're going to play the ball. Now, I'm going to get a bunch of comments, people telling me this is pass interference. I don't care. All right, because it's a bang bang thing. All right, but the idea is you don't jump in front of this ball. All right, and just make a play on the ball, and if it gets by, he runs for a touchdown. You've got to be able to secure the tackle. You've got to be there. They're coming in about the same time. All right, that's how it's got to be played. All right, so this is a good job with that, and he does this a lot where you think he's out of place, and he's at the bottom here. He's getting a deeper out route. Again, that guy's got position, and what does he do? He comes in and he makes a play on it. All right, so another good one, right? Comes in there, makes a play on it. Now, actually, really the Michigan receiver becomes the defender on that play, essentially, right? He's the one knocking the ball down. He's the one keeping Arnette from making the pick on it. So he's got some really good things going for him athletically, and I think he's one of the better guys that you're going to find there in day two of the NFL draft. All right, now I'm going to talk about another guy who got a lot of buzz early, particularly from Bengals fans. He's another guy who's been discussed as a potential slot, but this is a bigger slot, all right? This is a 6'1", 202 slot. That's Bryce Hall out of Virginia. So he's a guy, good coverage skills, and he's a very good blitzer, good tackler. He plays like the cover two force position, which you don't see much of in the NFL, and you don't see a ton of it in college football either anymore. But that's really where the corner is on the line of scrimmage, and he is responsible. He's got a responsibility in the run game like that's immediate. So he's got to be a real physical. It's got to be a different kind of dude to play that type of spot. Got to be a real physical guy that can get up there, get off of blocks, force the run. Also be quick enough to get in there, tighten it up to not allow there to be a big gap in there, and then be able to flip his hips and jam and get back in the pass game if it is a pass. So you got to be able to do a lot of things athletically there. He is going to be at the bottom here. All right. Remember I talked about leaning on the fade before? This is leaning on the fade. And again, don't be calling pass interference because they don't call pass interference on people's backs, right? This is leaning on the fade. All right, this is the ball's coming. I'm in good position. Now I lean on that receiver. All right, and what does that do? That cuts down that space. All right, cuts down that space between the receiver and the sideline, and that's how you get picks. All right, look at Devin McCourty's highlight film from his first year in the NFL from his rookie season. All right, you're going to see him doing this like 2 or 3 times. Like that was how he made plays. He was a smart player, can do some things, at that cornerback position. He was really, very good corner in his rookie year. Obviously, made the change to safety and moving on to great things. But that's what we want to do here. So look, he's running stride for stride. He's in great position. All right, which means he did a lot of things right at the beginning. He's got some great athletic ability to him. All right, and because he's in that position, he's able to look back for the ball and he's able to get the pick. So really good play on that. All right. And now we're going to take a look. Now this is him blitzing. All right. But I think it shows some of the qualities that you're going to want to see out of him in run support if you are taking him as a slot corner. All right, that you're going to see on the field a lot, and yeah, we're gonna get some run game stuff out of that. All right, so he is on the bottom of the screen right here, and again, you're going to see him coming on the blitz. All right, takes on the running back, gets off, and makes the tackle on the quarterback. All right, now I like to see him use his hands more on the running back instead of his shoulder. But still good look. He's a physical player. He's going to get in there. He's going to do some really good things. And I think this is why he projects very well. To show some of the things about him that project him very well to a slot corner in the NFL. Now, another guy I'm going to talk about is Troy Pride Jr. from Notre Dame. This is a guy that we've talked about. He's getting some buzz. Honestly, I don't love his film, but man, did I love him at the Senior Bowl, and that's what we're going to take a look at here. And he had rave reviews. It wasn't just me; he had rave reviews from a lot of people at the Senior Bowl. That's why he got a lot of buzz. When he got a lot of buzz, 5'11", 193. Tested very well at the combine also. Good coverage skills. Makes great reads in man. And I think really I don't know. I don't know if it was the coaching that he was getting at the Senior Bowl, if they told him a couple things that just really clicked for him. But man, he looks a lot better. Was making great reads in man at the Senior Bowl. So excellent eyes. Excellent eyes. We're going to see him. This is a one-on-one matchup. All right. Just watch how he's focused. He's locked in. All right. Turns at the right time. Right. Look at his eyes. Right there. Right there on the hip. All right. Gets his hand on. Okay. So that's right where you want to be. Right on that hip. Okay. What does being on the hip allow you to do? Okay. You don't want to be running past the guy. Right. Hip means you can see their eyes. Hip means when his hips go down, my hips go down. Boom. Right there. All right. Almost in unison, right? Except this guy's starting to make the cut. He's not quite yet, but that's okay. This guy knows what he's doing. He's reading it. All right. So now he comes underneath that route, and that is awesome. He's looking to make a play on that ball that's obviously thrown out of bounds. All right. So that's fantastic. I mean, these are really, great eyes, excellent technique, right on the hip. Boop. cutting right as he's cutting, basically. I mean, that's an awesome job. So seeing some very good things out of Pride. Now, other guys that I have day two grades on, we won't get into film on all these guys for time constraints. One is Darnay Holmes out of UCLA. Uh, Smooth athlete, really fluid. I like the way he moved at the combine. Even more than his testing, just the way he moved in drills really stood out to me. He's a shorter guy, right? And those guys tend to be, short guys tend to, have some good hips. All right, it makes it a little bit easier, I think, from a body mechanics standpoint. But he's 5'9", 195. Really good athlete. There's been some question marks about him. This year wasn't as good as last year. Honestly, I thought his film was all right this year. I thought his film was pretty good this year. I liked him before the combine, but he's a guy that that was questioned with. Some questioned the effort. I thought his effort looked great on film. I thought he worked really hard. So that's one guy. And now we come into the section of the podcast where I destroy people's names. Michael Ujamudia from Iowa. More of a zone guy, all right, and make some good reads in there. Bigger guy at 6 foot 200, but he's in the mix there to me at the end of day two, or excuse me, at the end of round two, early round three, I think. Noah Igbin Ujin. I think I got the Iowa guy right. I probably got this guy wrong. From Auburn is another one. Patient, focused, but sometimes I feel like he can be a little bit too patient. I feel like he's a little bit slow to break at times, and I don't mean slow athletically. I mean slow processing wise. I think he can be a little bit quicker with that. So maybe it's just a little conservative thing. I don't know. But he's a smaller guy as well, 5'10", 198. Jalen Johnson, another guy's gotten a lot of talk from Utah. Very smooth runner. He's got some good breaks, got some ball skills as well, 5'11", 193. Amick Robertson is a guy that I'm big on. He's another short guy, though, 5'8", but he is a turnover machine from Louisiana Tech. Is he doing a lot of the things that Darius Phillips does? So is he a fit for the Bengals? That kind of gets to be a question mark for me. And speaking of question marks, I've got two more guys that are kind of question marks here. One is Cameron Dantzler with a disappointing combine, but I did like his film. We'll see how his pro day goes. He's a very iffy day two pick for me right now with where his athletic scores came back. So I want to see more information. But I think he plays the ball well. He's aggressive about it, and he makes really good reads. So on film, there was a lot to like about him. Is he more of a technician? Is he, just really smart and able to make plays? Maybe he was limited athletically. That's going to be a question that I'm going to have. And then Rashad Robinson from James Madison, 5'10", 185. He went to James Madison. So it's been hard finding film on him. And that's my question mark is what I've seen I really like. But I feel like I haven't seen it enough to get a great feel of who he is. But he's got excellent ball skills. So he's a guy I like, and I could see potentially as a day two guy. But not getting a ton of buzz, and there's unfortunately not enough film out there to really see what he's got going for him. So that is going to be it. That's 16 potential cornerbacks for day two. Kind of how I see those guys. This was not a ranking system by any stretch. My rankings are a little bit different than this currently, and they're pretty fluid too. So that's not my exact rankings, the order we did it in. But definitely some options here. There's some good depth at the corner position, but I do feel like it kind of falls off a cliff pretty quickly. So I think if you don't get a guy in round three, I don't know if you're going to get what you want on day three of the draft. So it'll be interesting to see how things go. But I think guys like Terrell and Diggs could definitely be in play at 33. Arnette, Bryce Hall, definitely at 65 in play. And who knows how these guys, uh, could elevate themselves and move up as things go along here. So, um, once again, my name is Matt Minich for Bengals Chalk Talk here on Cincy Jungle. Keep tuning back. We'll have lots of great film for you, as well as the downloadable podcast, where I've had lots of great guests so far throughout the year. Keep checking back, and we will keep producing Bengals content for you.